To 6 tips to double your productivity and double your bottom line profit. So it all starts, as most things do, with the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule says that 20% of what you focus on gets you 80% of your results. So if you were to prioritize what you need to do in order of importance, with A first being the most important and then B, C, D, and if you were to just focus on getting the A tasks done and the most important ones amongst the A tasks getting done, then you'll find that you've covered off the 20% of things that you need to do in any given day or week to get you 80% of your results. So the first thing is you need a list with priority things that you need to do and then work through in order of importance. And the rule is you don't go on to the next one until you've finished the most important one first. So that will double anyone's productivity if they're not doing that already. The second thing is we need to realise that as we spend longer doing something, we get more efficient, we get better at it. So what tends to happen is when we first do something, we get less efficient because we're finding out what to do. But we eventually get to a stage where as we carry on doing more of this thing, we get more efficient. So that harks back to this one, because if we can find more time to focus on the 20% of things that get us 80% of our results, then what will happen is we'll actually get better at doing those 20% of things, which means we get another benefit, if you like, because not only are we focusing on the most important things, but we're actually getting better at doing them because we're spending longer focusing on them. And that's another reason why you shouldn't bob around between tasks, why you should focus on doing one thing at a time, because again, you become more efficient, you become better at doing things as you do them. So what you really need to do is to concentrate on carrying on doing something, because you become better doing it that way. And also you need to group together any similar tasks. So for instance, if you're sending out emails or you're writing articles or whatever, if there's 2 or 3 things that are similar to each other, you should bunch them together, because again, you become better at doing them. Whereas if you constantly chop and change between different types of tasks, you don't really get the full benefit of this learning effect, it's called. So that's a second thing that will improve our efficiency. Third thing is, this is a mobile phone. I'm not an artist, but what you'll notice is that people tend to get interrupted a lot with their mobile phones. So we need to work out a way of reducing interruptions. It's not just phones, it's people coming in to ask you to do something or whatever, but basically you need to work out a way of being able to work at an extended run, if you like, without interruptions. Because if you can do that, it's been estimated that interruptions can reduce your productivity by up to 80%. So if you can avoid interruptions while you're doing these important things, that will make you much more efficient. And if you avoid the interruptions, it means you benefit from this as well, because you're concentrating on what you're doing and you get better and better at doing it. So avoiding interruptions. So that might be things like scheduling when you'll respond to emails and phone calls, for example. A fourth thing, this is a real favourite really of mine, a big time waster is when you get a series of back and forth emails which start off with an original topic heading, subject heading, but as people respond and reply and amend and add extra points, what tends to happen is you get this flow of emails, but they've still got the original subject title on them, which means that if you then subsequently ever need to find an email that has a particular thing in it that you need to get back to or need to be able to quote, you can't find it because there's a whole series of these emails all with the same subject heading. So the rule is that every time you respond to an email, you should change the subject heading so that you'll recognize what's in that response email if you need to find it again. So changing the subject heading on emails. A fifth thing is this idea from Stephen Covey and Brian Tracy and all of the experts really, which basically says that there are 2 ways of looking at tasks. There's looking at things that have a deadline, which are urgent, or without a deadline, which are not urgent. And then there's looking at things in order of importance, i.e. does it matter whether you do it or not? Now, what tends to happen with a lot of people is they tend to have a to-do list, and the to-do list has all the things on it that need to be done today or this week because they have deadlines. And then if you're good at it, what you do is you order those things in order of importance, and that's good. But the trouble is you never get around to doing these things which are important but haven't got a deadline on, and you don't get around to doing these until they have got a deadline, and sometimes that's too late. And this could be things like improving your skills, working on your business, but it could also be things like devoting time to your family and your children, devoting time to spiritual development and mindset, etc. Meditation. I don't do that, but I know I should. Sports pursuits. All of these things that you need to find time for in a healthy life, plus all the things involved in working on your own skills and your own mind, and all the things involved in working on your business. All of those things come under this heading here. Now, unless they're diarised well in advance and you stick to that diary, they never get done because you get wrapped up in all the things that you have to. It's called busy being busy. So that's a really important thing there. What I've seen suggested, which I think is a really good idea, is that you should schedule 20 or 30% of your day free, because you diarise these things here, you put a to-do list together for these things, but you keep 20 or 30% of your day clear, because if things crop up during the day, the temptation is to say, oh, they're urgent, there's a deadline, I'll have to come back to this later, and you don't get this done. Well, if you allow some slack time, when the things crop up that have to be done today that you haven't got in the diary because you didn't know about them, you've allowed time to do them. So allow slack time as well. So I hope that makes sense. So what we're saying is you need to find time. They're called quadrant 2 activities. You need to find time for these things that are important with no deadline on them. Studying for exams, writing a book, all that sort of stuff. And then the last tip is, going back to the 80-20 rule, 20% of what you do gets you 80% of your results. Therefore, 20% of any task that you undertake will again get you 80% of the effect of accomplishing that task. Now, Cecil Northcote Parkinson basically came out with Parkinson's law, which says that work expands to fill the time available. So what that means is, let's say you allow an hour in your diary to do something, then you can guarantee it will take you an hour. If you allow 2 hours, it will take you 2 hours. If you allow half an hour, you'll be surprised that you can probably get it done in the half an hour. And if you don't get it done in the half an hour, you can almost guarantee that you'll get 80% of the effect of it done in the half an hour. So the rule is that you need to make sure you don't allow too much time to accomplish tasks, and that you need to basically work with urgency and try and accomplish the tasks quicker rather than take longer, because that will improve your efficiency. Because if you allow less time, you'll probably get that task done in the shortened time span, but even if you don't, you'll get 80% of the results. Now, it's amazing, for example, if you have to train someone in something, it's amazing how much you learn the subject yourself by having to train it, but it's also amazing how quickly you can prepare the training that you're undertaking if basically you haven't been given long to do it. So if someone tells you to train someone in something tomorrow, the initial thing might be, I can't do that, I haven't got time. But you'll find actually that you do find the time, that you will be able to do it. So there's 6 tips there which will improve anyone's efficiency, and if you improve the efficiency, you improve the bottom line. And I think between those you'd easily double your efficiency, which means you could double your bottom line. If you wanted to know how a system can help you get results for you and your clients, go to www.coachforprofit.com/Bernard. There's an 8-minute video. If you think there's anything in there that's of interest and you'd like to discuss it further, then click on the link and maybe we can have a chat. So Bernard Keavy, 6 tips to instantly double your productivity. Thanks for watching. I'm looking to recruit a business coach in order to help me handle existing global demand for business coaching services. And in particular, I'm looking for someone to run our Northeast US division. If you're interested in finding out more about this opportunity, which involves absolutely no financial risk or upfront investment, then go to coachforprofit.com/Bernard, watch a short 8-minute video, and if you think there's anything of interest there, then book a time and let's talk. And thank you very much for showing interest in this opportunity.